You ever walk out of a meeting or a class discussion and just think, wow, that went absolutely nowhere? Well, today we're going to change that. We're unlocking a blueprint, a real system for teaching anyone, and I mean anyone, how to turn those messy, frustrating conversations into powerful bridges for real shared understanding. So let's get started. All right, here's our game plan. First, we're going to figure out why things go wrong. Then, we'll build the solution from the ground up, starting with listening, then adding in powerful questions, learning how to connect ideas, and finally, putting a whole system in place so this success isn't just a one-time thing. So, first things first. Let's get real about why so many of our conversations, whether we're in a classroom, a boardroom, you name it, just fizzle out.
I mean, we've all been there, right? A discussion kicks off and it either dies a slow death, goes around in circles, or worse, just turns into a fight. The big question is, why? Why does this happen so often?
Well, it pretty much boils down to a few key mistakes we all make. We think we're listening, but really, we're just waiting for a pause so we can jump in and say our piece. We treat the whole thing like a debate to be won, instead of, a puzzle to solve together. Ideas just get tossed out there with no connection to each other, and when someone disagrees, it can feel like a personal attack instead of a chance to see things differently.
So let's completely reframe this. This is the big idea, the core of our blueprint. A great discussion isn't a battle. It's an act of construction. It's about building a bridge from your idea to my idea, so we can both cross over to a new place of understanding, together. Okay, so let's get to the fix. We're going to start with the absolute bedrock of our bridge, the single most important skill of all, listening. And let's be super clear about what this really means. Active is the key word here. This isn't just about not talking. It's about doing something. It's about using your whole body, your eyes, your posture, to show the other person that you are truly hearing them. It is a full contact sport. And you know what's great about this? We can break it down into 5 simple, coachable steps. Seriously, face the person, nod, don't interrupt them, ask a question, and then repeat back what you think you heard. See? Anyone can learn to do this. It's not magic, it's a skill. And this is how we make it stick. You don't just talk about it, you give people a tool. This worksheet, for example, it forces you to stop just hearing sounds and start processing information. You have to pull out the main facts and then come up with a question. It turns listening from a vague idea into a real task with a goal. Okay, so once we're actually listening, we can build the next layer on that foundation. This is where we grab our tools for exploration. We're talking about the art of asking really good questions. Think of a great question like a Swiss Army knife. It does so many things at once. It proves to the speaker you were listening, it helps you get clarity, and it pushes the conversation forward instead of letting it stall out. And we can give everyone a simple toolkit with 3 specific types of questions. You've got clarifying questions, to make sure you're not confused. You've got probing questions to dig into the why behind an idea. And then my favorite, connecting questions. That's when you start to weave it all together. And again, we make it practical. We don't just talk about the theory. It's one thing to know what a probing question is, but it's another thing entirely to come up with one in the middle of a fast-moving discussion, right? So a worksheet like this gets you practicing, moving from just recognizing the concept to actually creating it yourself. All right, so we're listening. We're asking great questions. Now we get to the really cool part, the construction phase. This is where we stop just sharing individual thoughts and we start building something new together.
I just love this analogy. Think about it. If everyone just throws their own brick into a pile, what do you have? A mess, a pile of bricks. But if you carefully place each brick, connecting it to the one that came before it, suddenly you're building a strong, tall tower of shared understanding. So how do we actually do that? How do we hand people the mortar to connect those bricks? Simple. Sentence starters. These things are magic. They're like conversational training wheels. They give people the exact words they need to agree, to disagree without being disagreeable, and to make those connections obvious for everyone. And here's a real game changer. To make sure everyone is part of the construction crew, you assign roles. One person's job is to be the question asker. Another is the connector. All of a sudden, it's not just one person's responsibility to keep the discussion on track. Everyone has a specific, important job to do for the team. But here's the most crucial part. This isn't about having one great conversation and calling it a day. No, this is about creating a system for repeatable success, for getting better and better over time. You just can't improve what you don't pay attention to. And a tool like this discussion tracker is so powerful. It's like a mirror. It makes you stop and ask yourself, hey, how did I actually do? Did I just talk or did I build on what someone else said? That honest look is always the first step to getting better.
And that moment of reflection leads right into the final piece of the whole system, setting a goal. Once you know what you need to work on, you pick one, just one, specific thing. Not, I'm going to be a better talker, but something real, like, next time I will ask one probing question. That's how you close the loop and really learn. So there it is, a clear step-by-step blueprint, a system that takes you all the way from listening to questioning to connecting and finally to reflecting and growing, which really only leaves one final thought. With these tools, what bridge could you build? What problem could your team solve? What amazing new place could you get to together?